What's going on, guys? I have a video for you that is called No Unhappy Customers. You could also call it No Bad Reviews Ever Again in Your Life. And the hack here is actually pretty obvious in my opinion, but it's really just two things. Number one, care, and number two, try. What a concept. So let's get right into that. I think that a customer that's always left a bad review, which, as you can imagine, in 18 years, I've seen quite a lot of bad reviews and different flavors and different reasons and different demographic of clientele, different stores, obviously, different staff members. Common theme in all of them is that the customer did not feel like we cared, or that we didn't try, or a combination of both. And everything, think about it, every bad review from now on, just look at it with the lens of, is this customer upset because they didn't think we tried? Did we show them that we cared? And I'll tell you right now, every single time we didn't do a good job of showing that we cared or we tried. So I've said this a lot, that our industry, it really comes down to customer service. Everybody fixes cars, but the greatest shops, they have a really high level of customer service. And the crappy shops, well, they don't. And because we're in the hospitality industry, very similar to hotels, this is really the main differentiation between good and bad. You know, as long as all skill is held constant, which if you look at the industry as a whole, and we're doing very minor repairs, in reality, we're not doing crazy skilled work. For the most part, 80% of our revenue comes from B-level work at best. So what it comes down to really is how we treat our customers. So what does it mean to care and to try? Let's get into that. To care, in my opinion, number one, if you want to show your customers that you care, you got to communicate. Surprise, which is why communication, I've always said, is so important. If you don't communicate, anything else is not going to matter. You could have the nicest smile, you could have the nicest voice, you could be very sweet, but if you don't call your customers and you don't communicate with your customers, if you don't call them when you said you would, if you don't tell them and keep your promises, then it doesn't matter. You could be the sweetest person, but if you don't communicate on time, you don't give a damn. And that's what it looks like, whether you do or not, doesn't matter. So please write that down. Caring, number one, communicate. Number two, be kind. Show that you're be kind. Have a smile. Show the customer that you're a people's person, right? Be sincere. Show them the sincerity by empathizing with that emotion. If they're having a bad day, be like, oh, I'm so sorry that you're having a bad day, and mean it. It's a human being on the other side. Finally, transparency. Don't lie ever, and if you have issues, just try to be transparent without, of course, and we'll get into that in a second here, without showing them behind the curtain. Just be like, hey, your car is having this and this issue, and we fix this. Again, show them the issue so that when a brake job takes 3 hours, you're actually explaining to them why it took 3 hours rather than saying, oh yeah, this car is hard. No. Tell them exactly what happened, which bolt broke, why it broke, it was rusted, the caliper was seized. Be transparent, and then you're going to show that you care because you're giving them the information. And one other thing about caring, guys, ask questions. And this is really interesting because our scripts, if you pay attention to all the anytime scripts, a lot of it is just questioning. When you question the customer, you give them an opportunity to talk about their issues, talk about their problem. And that is the best way to actually show that you care, is by listening. A lot of times people think that you show caring by talking. In reality, it's completely the other way around. When you want to show somebody you care, you give them a year. And this is why God gave us 2 years and 1 mouth, so that we could care more, and then we could also reciprocate that with our words. All right, how do you try? Well, this is interesting. You communicate. Look at that. Once again, you got to communicate. If you don't communicate with your customers, you are so well. Because how can you, again, show that you tried when you don't even communicate? You have to show them effort. This is where sense of urgency is such a big deal. We teach on sense of urgency a lot because it is such a big deal in every part of our business, and especially when it comes to customer service. When the customer sees that you rush to fix their problem, it gives you an incredible edge over everybody else in the industry. And again, you got to communicate. So you put those two things together, sense of urgency and communication, and you get somebody who really tries. That's really it for trying, but just another couple of things just to make it better. Speed, right? And showing genuineness in the trying that you're doing. Really being genuine. So as long as you care and you try, you're at the very least, you're not going to have angry customers. Now, outside events are always going to be outside your control. Sometimes you get a bad part. Sometimes the part doesn't come in at all. Sometimes things break. That's life. But remember, You don't control events, but you do control how we and you and I and our team responds to it. Whether we respond at all, and whether we respond by trying and caring. If you try and you care, I swear to you, you're gonna have, at the very least, not unhappy customers. Because they'll say, all right, well, these guys, crap happened, but at least it's not on them. Or if it is on them, at least they're being honest. I promise you guys, think about it. You'll never give up on a shop or a person that's just being honest and they try and they care. That's all people want. People deal with people, not with businesses. Remember that. If they like dealing with you, they will come back and they will never leave you a bad review. To sum it all up, if your customer service is number one in town, your price will be number one in town. And customer service just comes down to trying and caring, which is communicating and sense of urgency and being kind to people. To remind you all of the same example that I always like to give is the Ritz-Carlton versus the Motel 8. They have the same problems. Both of them are in the same industry, the hospitality industry. They have to give people a place to sleep at night. They all have to get cleaners. They all have to get people to service their hotel, so on and so forth. They all have the same issues, more or less. The difference is that when a Ritz-Carlton runs into an issue versus a Motel 8 is how that issue is handled. In a Ritz-Carlton, you're going to get a lot of empathy and caring and trying from that staff, which is why you'll pay that $900 a night for a hotel. Whereas the Motel 8 people, they don't really show you as much, generally speaking, which is why you'll pay $90. Which is why you'll pay $90 for a room instead of $900. You decide which one you want. The level of caring and trying that you have will determine how much you get to charge. I hope this helps. Be sure to care and try and let your customers see that. It will change your career, your business, and your bank account. And the best part is you're gonna feel pretty freaking good about it because your customers will like you, which is awesome. Thank you very much. See ya.